What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. Before we get into today's video, make sure to subscribe and select that like button. We've been growing a lot in the last couple of weeks. Appreciative to all of you who have subscribed or liked these videos. And without further ado, let's begin. So let's get into my post Week 7 NFL Power Rankings. So without further ado, let's begin. Coming in at number 32, I have a new number 32, the Houston Texans, who lost to the Raiders. Their defense just could not stop Josh Jacobs the whole game, which was to be expected since they don't have a good run D and Josh Jacobs has been having a heck of a year. Coming in at number 31, the team with the worst record in the league, the Lions, at 1-5. And it's unfortunate because it feels like this is a team that had a lot of optimism, and even in their losses, you could see some growth, but it's really not translating to anything because they're sitting at 1-5. Coming in at number 30, I have the Saints, who Andy Dalton had a pretty erratic game on that Thursday night. Their offense was able to put up some points. Their defense didn't have much help, though, especially with those 2 turnovers. Saints not looking too good. Coming in at number 29, team with a massive upset win over their fellow divisional rival. I got the Panthers coming in at 29 after trading away Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, this is the first time I mentioned that. Big trade there. I think it was a win-win for both sides. I think for the Niners, it's good. You get a running back. They kind of needed some help there, and you have what better way to do it than get one of the best in the NFL. And the Panthers, they got much-needed draft capital for when they hit a rebuild next year, which surprises me if they really did turn down 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. Coming in at number 28, I have the Broncos, who just really suck, whether it's with Russell Wilson or Brett Rippon. Coming in at number 27, I have the Jaguars, who basically had a Titans vs. Rams Super Bowl moment there at the end of that Giants game. Coming in at number 26, I have the Raiders. Mentioned it earlier, they got a win. They're still 2-4, and they can't do that well against the big teams, so no one's taking them serious. Coming in at number 25, the Steelers, who Kenny Pickett threw a game-losing interception. Their offense struggled a lot in that game, but you know, the Dolphins do have a good defense, and we'll be talking more on the Dolphins in a bit. But the Steelers, obviously 2-5, you know, things are not trending in the right direction for them. Coming in at number 24, the Browns, who had a controversial false start penalty that basically knocked them out of field goal range and eventually led to them losing the game. The Browns sitting at 2-5. Then coming in at number 23, the Patriots, who got stunned on Monday Night Football by the Bears. You know, I don't know what Bill Belichick's doing there with Zappe and Mac Jones. This is very unlike Bill Belichick to have this kind of buffoonery going on here. But, you know, I don't know who the official starter is going into next week. Zappe did not look good, and I've been saying it. That Zappe, you know, he got to face the Lions and the Browns. Jones had to face the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Dolphins. I mean, I think if you put Jones in those Browns and Lions games, he does the exact same thing that Zappe does, if not better. I just think it's an unfair, and the Patriot fans chanting Zappe is a freaking joke. I mean, this is a guy who freaking got into the Pro Bowl last year, led you to the playoffs with a 10-7 record as a rookie, and, you know, you get off to a slow start and you're going to start chanting the other guy's name? Come on. I mean, that's a joke. That really is a joke, and, you know, that just shows how goofy fan bases can be sometimes, but, you know, it is what it is. Coming in at number 22, I got the Bears, who I just mentioned, got the big win, and we're able to add a whole new dimension to that offense with their running ability with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to have to continue to be able to be one of those better dual threat quarterbacks for the Bears to put up points. It was very impressive how much points they were able to put up against the Patriots there. Coming in at number 21, I have the Falcons, whose defense just could not stop the Bengals as expected. Their secondary isn't very good. Coming in at number 20, I have the Cardinals, who got DeAndre Hopkins back, who had a pretty big game in his first game back. Kyler Murray was visibly upset with Cliff Kingsbury at a point in that game, but they got the win, so that kind of gets erased. Coming in at number 19, the Colts, who announced Sam Ehlinger will be their starting quarterback for the remainder of the season, benching Matt Ryan. I think at this point, Matt Ryan is washed. I thought a change of scenery a different team and a running game would really benefit him, but it didn't. I think Matt Ryan is washed at this point, and I honestly don't blame the Colts for benching him. It's not like this is a franchise, guy. This is a guy who's just been here this year, and it's just not working out, and you need a spark maybe with a young quarterback, the second-year quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. Coming in at number 18, the Buccaneers falling all the way, and that's what happens when you lose to the worst team in football coming into the week, 21-3. Look, I really have no idea what's going on there in Tampa. I mean, Brady has the weapons. It doesn't really look like that age is the issue. It doesn't really feel like Brady's the issue, but you can't really pinpoint what the issue is. I mean, the offensive line isn't as good as it was, but still, it's not bad. And, the defense is really not that dominant force that it was at the beginning of the year. So Tampa's got some issues, but I know better than to count out Tom Brady. Coming in at number 17, I have the Packers, another team struggling a lot offensively. Aaron Rodgers just cannot seem to get in sync with these receivers, and they just can't get above water when it comes to staying healthy at the receiving position. They got Sammy Watkins back, but now Randall Cobb is gone for a little bit. Romeo Doubs and Allen Lazard aren't really playing well. Christian Watson is still developing. Got some issues there at the receiver position, but at least, the defense is still playing solid. Coming in at number 16, the Commanders, who got a huge win over the Packers. The Commanders, they're hanging in there. Taylor Heineke came in and kind of gave them a bit of a spark. Who knows what that means for Carson Wentz. Coming in at number 15, the Chargers, who, J.C. Jackson, it was announced that he's out for the year, but, obviously get well soon, J.C. Jackson, but I just don't think that really matters too much because J.C. Jackson's been playing terrible. They even benched him against the Broncos last week for how bad he was playing. And I said it when they signed J.C. Jackson. I didn't think it was a good signing, making him the highest paid corner in the NFL and putting him in a zone scheme when he's a man-to-man corner. It's just not a good fit, and it was a bad signing, and, it's proving to be right. And they just got, completely destroyed defensively by the Seahawks. Coming in at number 14, I have the Rams, who had a bye week. Coming in at number 13, I have the Seahawks, who are now 4-3. And hey, look, Seahawks are first place in the NFC West. Broncos are last place in the AFC West. Maybe it wasn't Pete Carroll the problem. Maybe it was Russell Wilson, because Pete Carroll doing well with these guys is pretty impressive, and Wilson struggling with his quote-unquote super team over there, as some people like to label it. Hey, Pete Carroll's legacy has really changed over the first 7 games this year. Coming in at number 12, I have the 49ers, who got blown out at home in Christian McCaffrey's debut. Their defense cannot stop the Chiefs. They were the number 1 ranked defense coming into the week. Probably not anymore. Offense was just not able to keep up. Deebo Samuel has really disappeared this season. Coming in at number 11, I have the Bengals, who got a win over the Falcons, as mentioned earlier. I'm still not 100% convinced with this team. The lingering issues that I mentioned are still there. I think as the season goes on, this team will continue to be up and down, finish with an 8-9, 9-8 record. Coming in at number 10, I have the Titans, who have now won 4 in a row after an 0-2 start. Pretty impressive there. Got a big win over the Colts, division rival. They've now swept the Colts this year. Titans are looking like they're back on track. We'll see how they fare against the Chiefs in a couple of weeks. Coming in at number 9, I have the Ravens, who were able to close out that game against the Browns. Their defense held up when they needed to, even though it hasn't been that great this year. The running game was a big deal in this game for the Ravens. The Ravens just need to stick to what they know, and we'll see what Deshaun Watson can do when they incorporate him into that offense. I don't see him being able to do much, but sadly enough, he might be their second best receiver. That's how bad that receiving core is. Coming in at number 8, I have the Dolphins, who the Dolphins got back on track with a win. It was a must-win game. They could not lose a 4th straight. And I think this team we're going to see them be back to where they were before You know, they had some they were dealing with some injuries. They're finally healthy again. I think this team's gonna get back on track. That's why I said never don't press the panic button with them yet. Coming in at number 7, the Jets. And the big problem here with the Jets is Breece Hall is out for the year, and that's a guy that they were going to rely on a lot down the stretch to keep the ball out of Zach Wilson's hand and rely on that run game and keep the defense rested. It's a big loss. They traded for James Robinson, Jaguars running back. You know, I don't know if James Robinson is. I know for a fact James Robinson will not replace the production that Breece Hall was putting up, but you know, at least he'll help a little bit. He may not be the starting back. They may let Michael Carter keep the starting role since he's familiar, but regardless, someone in that running group is going to have to step up. Coming in at number 6, the Giants, who dodged a bullet against the Jaguars there at the end. You know, the Giants are just continuing to win games in wild ways. We'll see how far this goes with them, but as of right now, I mean, they're 6-1 is 6-1. Coming in at number 5, I have the Vikings, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 4, I have the Cowboys, who with their first game back with Dak, really slow offensively at first, but started to bring it together there in the second half. And Ezekiel Elliott, it looks like 2016 Zeke, at least in that game. And he played well against the Eagles the week before, so that could be bad news for a lot of teams if that guy gets cooking again along with that passing game. Coming in at number 3, you got my Kansas City Chiefs, who things are starting to fall into place with that offense. Mecole Hardman had a huge game. Juju Smith-Schuster had a huge game. Marquez Valdes-Scantling had a huge game. Isaiah Pacheco's getting more involved. The offensive line was able to completely shut down one of the best defensive lines in football. Their young corner Joshua Williams got an interception. He's only getting better. The pass rush is getting stronger. You know, the only negative I took out of that game is Sky Moore is a bust. You know, I'm sorry, it's early, but Sky Moore's a bust, but I don't think it's going to matter because they have so many other guys at the receiver position who is stepping up, but it is too bad to see that Sky Moore is just not panning out. Coming in at number 2, I got the Bills, who were on a bye week this week, and coming in at number 1, the Eagles, who are still the only unbeaten team. They were also on a bye week this week. Comment down below what you guys think about my rankings, and other than that, I'll see you guys next